Hello and welcome to my channel. It's yours truly, Chanel Jasmine, and in today's video I'm going to talk to you guys about how God spoke to me about moving to Texas part 3. If you did not see part 1 and part 2, please pause this video and go watch those first and then just come back to this one. Before we jump into it, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe and hit the bell button so that you're notified every time that I post. Now, let's get into it. So the Greyhound left Philadelphia at about 1 a.m. Saturday, May 31st. The first bus was about maybe 8 hours. I want to say maybe eight or 9 hours or something like that. Majority of the bus ride, I was just in and out of sleep. I'm not going to lie. Like, because the bus was so cold, and I did have a blanket, but the blanket I had, baby, I needed a comforter, okay? I had like a throw blanket. I needed a comforter. So I was pretty much in and out of sleep the whole bus ride because obviously it was too cold for me to fall into a deep sleep, but at the same time, it was 1 a.m. I was sleepy, you feel me? I told you guys I did smoke right before I got on the bus, so I was pretty tired. So the whole way I was just in and out of sleep, right? So we did make a couple stops. Like, for example, the bus had to stop to get gas. So, everyone on the bus went into the convenience store, got whatever they was going to get, went to the bathroom, boop-de-boop, even though the bus did have a bathroom. But yeah, people went to the bathroom, got their snacks, whatever. So we get to the first stop where we have to get on a separate bus. Now, my bus, mind you, originally I had 3 transfers. Now, when I get to the first stop, pretty much the first transfer, my second bus was delayed. That was becoming a concern for me because I had another bus to get on after that one. So if this bus is delayed, that means it's getting to the second bus late. And if that bus is not delayed, then it was a chance I would miss it because, remind you, to get on the next bus, it was only like maybe an hour, 30 minutes to an hour wait. It wasn't that long of, I guess they call it a layover type thing. It wasn't that long, you feel me? Like, my buses was pretty like close in schedule. So I mentioned to you guys in one of my other videos that anywhere I go, I gravitate towards whoever is in charge every time. The boss, the CEO, whatever you want to call it, whoever is in charge, I tend to kind of form like a bond with that person. Everywhere I go, this is always the case. So before I realized my second bus was delayed, I started conversating with, I don't know the name of his position, but he like overseed the entire transportation thing. He overseed everything. So we were just talking. He was asking me like, where was I headed to, stuff like that. Like, he wasn't trying to hit on me, nothing like that. It was just conversation, right? So remind you, where we had to board the bus, there were no seats. So I was standing with my luggage. So I'm like kind of rushing my bus to come on. That's when I noticed that my bus was delayed. So I mentioned it to him because I'm letting him know, like, I have another bus to get on. And if this bus is late, it's going to make me late to the third bus. So he was like, come with me. I'm going to see if I can change your trip. Like, I'm just going to see what I can do. So he tells me to come with him. And there was like this break room for the employees, but he was like, you could chill in here, put your feet up, relax, whoop-de-whoop. He lets me know that there was like a whole, kind of like a mini mall connected to the Greyhound station, but it was like underground. So he was like, if you want, go get yourself some breakfast. I'm gonna see if I could put you on like another bus that'll get you to the same place. All right, cool. I go get my breakfast, go get my iced coffee, nice little sandwich, because mind you, it's like 9 a.m. It's early. So when I get back, we're chilling. Like I said, I was chilling, had my feet up, was eating breakfast. I was chilling, okay? So he ended up changing my bus. So the bus he changed me to was a straight run. So mind you, where I currently was, I was in Atlanta, right? Because that first bus took me from Philly, then it went to DC, but we didn't have to get off. That wasn't a transfer. It wasn't a transfer until we got to Atlanta. So I was currently in Atlanta. He switched me on a bus that went from Atlanta straight to Texas. Mind you, the one that I was originally on stopped somewhere else. So I went to Atlanta, then somewhere else, then Texas. So he put me on a bus that was basically a straight run. There was no more transfers, no more nothing. So I was like, oh yeah, I like that. The only thing is the layover was like 3 hours. So I had to sit there for like 2 more hours, but it was fine. I was in this break room, had my feet up, found the outlet, was charging my phone. It was cool. Like, I was not complaining at all. They had Wi-Fi, I was chilling. Had my breakfast, I was cool. Okay? Because I ain't gonna lie, the whole transfer part is a lot, especially because I had 2 suitcases and they were like pretty heavy. I had 2 suitcases, I had a duffel bag, I had my neck pillow, and then I had a throw blanket. Yeah. So it was kind of a lot. So I was like, I wanted to take the less transfer route. So I was like, okay, cool. I was like, thank you so much. Thank you. He did it free of charge, like free of, I was like, thank you, like so much. So we get on the last bus and it's starting to hit me what's happening. I told you guys I can be nonchalant sometimes. Like, I really can. But it's starting to hit me, and I started praying, you know, in my head, because obviously like it was a bus full of people. So I just started praying in my head, and I just was like, just being thankful. And the enemy started putting like doubts in my head, like, oh, you downgraded and you pretty much left your 1-bedroom to go to a shared living space. Because technically I did. Keep in mind, when I had the eviction court, I had an option to stay. My property manager, he didn't take me to court on some, oh, I want her out type deal. You feel me? They just wanted their money. So I could have stayed, and I just would have had to pay what I owed, a little bit on what I owed, plus the upcoming rent. So I could have made that work if I really wanted to. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I was being kicked out. I had an option to stay. But God spoke to me about moving to Texas before my hearing. I respect God. You know, even when I was like doing things that wasn't like him, I always respected God. You feel me? It just wasn't, I didn't know how to properly love. Like, I wasn't loving myself, so I couldn't properly love him. It wasn't until I started seeking God where I started to learn what love was. And then I started to love myself, and then started to love him. You know what I'm saying? But I always respected God. So when he told me to move, I was just like, fine. I had to be okay with downgrading. I was going from a 1-bedroom. When I tell you my furniture was so, like, my entire apartment was pink and white. I had a nice vanity. I had a nice dresser, big TVs. My apartment was nice. Okay? So the enemy's put in my head, like, you really just left all that to go stay in a shared living space. Mind you, I've never done that before. I've never, besides college, I've never had a roommate. And even in college, I had a roommate for like 2 months. And then I realized I didn't really like the whole roommate thing, because I told you guys I'm a tidy person. So when I'm around people that can live in filth, it bothers me. So I had a roommate for like 2 months, and then by the grace of God, there was an empty dorm, literally 2 doors down from my dorm, and I just switched. Went to the RA, submitted the papers, and I switched. So this is the first time I was going to live in a house with people. But I was like, it's okay, because I had my own room, and my room had a bathroom. Because that's another thing. I can't share no bathroom, y'all. I can't. Let me tell you something about me. Seeing hair drives me crazy. You know how most females, they have hair everywhere because they just did their hair, so they have hair everywhere. Don't get me wrong, hair's gonna shed. I know that. I am cleaning it up immediately. If I see one piece of hair, I'm getting the vacuum immediately. I don't have OCD. I'm not claiming that. I know somebody that had OCD. It was bad. I'm not that bad. I'm just a tidy person. I like a clean space. Cleanliness is next to godliness. So it makes sense. But yeah, I'm like, it's gonna be okay. You know, I have my own room. There's a bathroom in my room. The only place I'm sharing is the kitchen, living room, the other common spaces, basically. You know, I shut down those thoughts that the enemy was trying to plant in my head. Like, yes, technically I am downgrading. That is correct. But I know God, and I know that if he tells you to do something, he's going to see you through it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I know that there is a reward in obedience. So I left my amazing Pink Palace 1-bedroom apartment to go to another state to live in a shared living space. Yes, I did. But again, I trusted God. I trusted him. So that was something that I was willing to give up. So fast forward, we are now in Texas. I got here June 1st at about 5 p.m. The bus pulled up at the Greyhound station here in Texas. So I took a lift to the rented car. As you guys know, I gave away everything. I had nothing besides those 2 suitcases. So I had to go to Walmart. I had to go to the dollar store to get things that I would need to get myself back into my routines and stuff like that. Now, I didn't try to get everything at once, but I did get a couple things. Like, I needed a bed set, I needed pillows, you know, stuff like that. Water bottles, all that good stuff. So I get to the rental car, and before I went to the stores, I went to drop my luggage off at the place. I wanted to make sure I can get in correctly, wanted to see the room, you know, all that good stuff. Even though they showed you pictures on the website and certain properties have 3D tours, but you know, I just wanted to do that first. So the day you move in, they send you the code to the front door, then they send you a separate code to your door, your room door. So I get in front door, fine. I get in my room, cool. It was pretty nice. It was a nice room. It was nice and cozy. Like, when I first got in the house, I was just like, oh, this is nice. There was fresh carpet all throughout the house. Kitchen was beautiful. The appliances was new. Like, it was a nice spot. But the first thing I noticed was the kitchen was disgusting. I mean, like, dishes was in the sink. There was crumbs on the counter. The floor is what really got my attention. Y'all, the floor was disgusting. Because I already had stuff to do that day, I'm just coming off a 33-hour bus. Low-key, I was tired because I told you I was in and out of sleep on the bus. Like, it was so cold, so I kept waking up, then I kept dozing off. Waking up, I was like in and out of sleep. So I was pretty tired, but I still had to go to the stores and get what I needed. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to clean this floor tomorrow. Because one thing about me, like, I will pick up a broom real quick. I will pick up a vacuum real quick. I will pick up a mop real quick. I didn't care. I didn't make it a big deal. Y'all ain't in here clean. I didn't make it a big deal. I just said, you know what? I'll clean the floor tomorrow. Today, we got stuff to do. We go to the stores. I get everything I need. I return the vehicle. I go back to the house. I clean the bathroom, you know, wipe everything down. All that, you know, like you would do a new place. All that good stuff, right? And then I showered and I went to bed because, y'all, I was so tired. So the next day comes. I told you guys I planned to clean the floor. So I did that. Mind you, I went downstairs to like make breakfast or something, and then the floor. Like, I told you I can't function in filth. So I had got the broom and then I got the mop. I don't think I mentioned this, but when I first moved in, there was one guy I did meet. So let's call him, I'm trying to think of names that I'm gonna remember. Let's call him Bob. So Bob's room was closest to the front door. So I do remember I asked him if he could help me take my stuff upstairs, because my room was upstairs in like the back. I was in room 14. Mind you, there were 14 rooms. So they went in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was in 14. So I was like upstairs, like all the way in the back. So I remember I asked Bob to help me with my stuff. So he was the first one that I met. I think he was the only one I met that day. So the next day, I'm cleaning, right? The floor in the kitchen. One guy, let's call him, I said Bob, I gotta write these names down. Let's call him Richard. So Richard walks into the kitchen while I'm cleaning the floor. Okay. So he introduced himself, woody woo. Okay, cool. Now, luckily, I hadn't mopped yet. I was just sweeping, so all right, cool. I get done mopping and then I had the bucket of dirty water. Now, you don't throw no dirty bucket water in no kitchen sink. So I took it outside to the yard and I kind of threw it in the grass. So when I went out there, Bob and Richard were sitting. They had like furniture outside, so they were sitting outside. So Richard says to me like, oh, we haven't had game night in a while. We're planning a game night tonight. You're welcome to join us. I was like, okay, cool. Like, you know, I guess that'll be a good opportunity to meet everybody in the house. Fine. Like, I was okay with that. Fast forward, Richard then writes in the group chat. So on the app, they have a house chat, basically. So he writes in the chat, like, we're going to have a game. We're going to play, I think it was Uno. Such and such time. Meet us in the living room. We'll do what. So fast forward, it's game night time. It wasn't everyone in the house, but it was like, I would say maybe 5 of us. We're playing, and I noticed I hit it off with Bob, and Richard. They was like real cool. You know, I considered them one of the homies. Like, sidebar, people always told me I act like one of the guys. Like, I'm real chill, I'm real laid back, I don't do too much, right? So I get along with males, probably better than females, I'm not gonna lie. So we kind of hit it off. Like, I considered them one of the homies, you feel me? So they were telling me that there was this girl in the house, let's call her Amber. She had walked out and she just went like this and just kept walking. I was like, you know, like, why didn't y'all invite her to play? And it was like she's a little weird. Like, she don't really get along with too many people in the house, stuff like that. So I was like, okay. So game night was fun, right? We had a good time. We didn't stop game night till like 1, 2 a.m. Mind you, we started like at 7. Okay, game night started to become a habit, right? But it wasn't everybody. It was just me, Bob, and Richard. It started to become an every night thing. Mind you guys, I left the marijuana in Philly. I wasn't doing that. There were these cans that Richard would drink. It wasn't beer. It was like a margarita in a can, kind of. So I tasted it one day and I was like, oh, that tastes really good. Like, it tasted like juice. So he started to buy one for him and then he would buy one for me. So it started to become a habit of me drinking these cans while we were playing game night. Remind you, game night turned into an every night thing. I'm not joking. Turned into an every night thing. One day we're having game night and Amber, her room was like, okay, so it was the living room, then the kitchen was right next to it. And then when you go through the kitchen, there was 2 rooms right there. She was in one of those rooms. She was like, oh, y'all too loud. Y'all need to be quiet. Now, remind you guys, I told y'all game night became an everyday thing. So we was playing all week. The girl never said anything. This particular day, she wanted to say something. So I kept it cute. You know, I just was like, well, you know, like, you could have said it a lot nicer. Like, you didn't have to be so nasty about it. Oh, I'll say it how I want to say it. Okay. Mind you guys, I made a video about being delivered from the spirit of anger. So I'm like, okay, brush it off. I let her have it, right? So game night is becoming an everyday thing. And me drinking these cans became a every night thing. It's like weeks has gone by. I'm trying to get back into my routine that I had in Philly. So I'm like, okay, let me, because mind you, I just moved to a new state. So I was giving myself some grace. But it's been a couple weeks now. So I'm like, okay, let me get back into my fitness, stuff like that. Like, let me get back into it. So I planned to go back to the gym. Now, mind you guys, I told y'all I wasn't driving at the time. But there was a bus that wasn't too far from the house that took me to a Planet Fitness. It was either that or a Lyft. And it didn't make sense to catch a Lyft every morning to go to the gym. That don't even make sense when the bus was only like $2.25. So I attempt to go to the gym this morning. Mind you, I go to the gym, I like to be there by 5 a.m. So it was probably like 4 or something when I was walking to this bus. Y'all, I'm walking to the bus. Why did 2 dogs run up on me? Now, one thing I know about dogs, you're not supposed to run. If you run, they, in their mind, it's a game, they're gonna chase you. So I was just like, Jesus, 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 because they were walking towards me. Like, they were approaching me. And I was just like, Jesus, Jesus. So they're barking as they're approaching me. But they see, like, I just stood still. Like, I did not move. So they just walked off about their business. And then, mind you, I'm literally like 2 feet from the butt. Like, I'm I'm like 200 meters from the butt. I'm not really good with measurements. But I was like 2 minutes from the bus. As I'm walking to the bus rode right past me. The bus ended up coming early than it was supposed to. Like 5 minutes early. So the bus rides right past me and then it started pouring down raining. I said pouring down raining. Now in Houston, they have like a lot of self-car wash things. So I seen one that was like across the street. So I had to like run under it. It started pouring. Not a drizzle. It started pouring. I stood under there waiting for the rain to stop. And then I just walked back to the house because I'm like, I'm soaking wet at this point. I'm not about to go work out. I was like, okay, maybe wait to get back into the gym. Mind you, I threw away majority of my gym clothes. I only had like 1 pair of sneakers. So I was like, okay, like we could take a little break from the gym. But I'm not willing to give up my walks. So I'm going to continue to walk. Now, I remember where I saw these dogs. So I'm like, I'm gonna walk the other way. And the next day comes, I go walk. I think I just walked like a mile this day. I was approached by more dogs. What I didn't know was that this area was an area of a lot of roaming dogs. Don't get me wrong, I kept doing it. You know what I mean? Like literally every time a dog approached me, I just was like, Jesus, 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 Jesus. I literally remember one time a dog was approaching me. I literally started calling on Jesus. The dog laid down. I'm not joking. Like he stopped barking and he just laid down. So I knew like, okay, that's my weapon. The name of Jesus. That was my weapon. But my walks wasn't as peaceful. When I started my walks in Philly, they were peaceful. You feel me? Like I can go clear my head, I can talk to God. They were peaceful. That's why I fell in love with them. Walking in this area, it wasn't peaceful because every second I was like making sure there wasn't no dog about to pop out. I'm telling you, they would just come from random places. It was literally one day I got approached like 5 different times by like 5 different dogs. I'm not joking. I wish I was, but I'm not. So I was just like, okay, like I'm just gonna take a break. So I wasn't working out. Plus, we were still having game night almost every night. So because we were getting done 1 a.m., I wasn't waking up at 4 to work out at 5. I slept to like 7:30 because I had to log into work at 8. I don't think I mentioned that. So when I was in Philly, I had a work from home job. So I still had that job. You see what I mean? God orchestrated all this, okay? So the job pretty much transferred with me. Let me just speak something about that. When I got to Texas, my headset had broke. Honestly, I wasn't going to update my address. I had no intentions to. Like, they don't need to know I moved. My project manager knew I was moving because that's like my homie, but I didn't plan on updating the company. But my headset broke. So I had to tell them the new address so they could send me out a headset. So as a result, I had to do a change of address form. Y'all, tell me why I get paid and my paycheck was more. So I was like, that's odd. Like, I know I didn't get no raise or anything like that. Like, this is weird. So I look at my pay stub. Texas takes out less taxes from your pay than Philly did. But did y'all hear what I said? I did not plan to update my address. I only did it because my headset broke. See, when you are a child of God, you can't even stop what he has for you. I'm trying to tell you, you can't even get in the way of what he has for you at all. But anyway, let's get back to the story. We were having game night a lot, so I wasn't even waking up that early. I used to wake up probably like 30 minutes before I had to log into work. I was not waking up to work out anyway. So I wasn't doing my meal plan because I didn't have no pots. Like, I had to get all this stuff. I had to get contained. I had to get all this stuff, and I didn't get all of it yet. I had to get a new blender for my smoothies, protein pod. I had to get everything all over again. So for a few weeks, I was not eating my meal plan, and then I wasn't working out, right? So I just completely just was not on my game. This is going on for weeks. We get a new housemate. The app tells you when someone moves out and when someone moves in. So we were getting a new housemate. Let's call her Brittany. Child, Richard loved game nights. He was like, oh, we got a new housemate. Let's have game night. I'm like, okay. That was kind of like how we welcomed her in. So when she moves in, she has a friend that comes with her. He was a guy. So we're having game night, and the guy, mind you, he's from New York. So we were speaking the same language. He's from New York. I'm from Philly. Like, we were speaking the same language because people in Texas, they different. So he leans over to me and he was like, oh, what's going on there? And I'm like, what you mean? What's going on with you and Richard? What you mean? Nothing. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, something going on. Now, remind you, Richard was very thoughtful. Like, he did a lot of gestures that was very thoughtful, but I expect that from any man that I'm near. You know what I mean? Like, so I didn't read into it. I didn't think anything of it. I should have, though, because Richard liked to cook. He was a really good cook. And I remember one day we were having game night, and I think he made like curry chicken or something. And he was like, here, taste this. This is his fork. This is his hand. He like, here, taste this. And first I was like, brother, I don't know you. But he was like, I don't have no disease. Like, here, just taste it. So I tasted it, and he literally like was like this. So he did that more than one time. Again, I expect to be treated like a princess from everybody. So I wasn't reading between the lines. So the guy that came with Brittany, her little friend, he was like, oh no, something going on there. And I was like, nothing's going on. So this particular night, I had a bottle of wine. So I was like, I wasn't drunk, but I was a little lit. When I get lit, I'm already naturally silly. I get like overly silly, right? So I was just sitting there laughing. Nothing is funny. Like I was literally laughing at myself, like something I thought about in my head, and I just started laughing. This game night is like 9 of us, right? Like this particular night, it was like the whole house, plus the new girl, Brittany, plus her friend. So her friend is sitting here, it's me, and then it's Richard. I'm laughing, kikiing. Now, one thing I noticed about Richard, he doesn't like being left out of things. So he kept asking like, what's so funny? What's so funny? And I just was like, I was laughing so much, I couldn't even say what was funny. This guy, he was drinking something heavy, Don Julio or something. Now, I don't do all that. I never did. So he was like, oh, where your cup at? Like, I'm gonna fill your cup up. Richard goes, oh, she don't need nothing else. And he looked at me, he was like, tighten up. Again, I was just recently delivered from the spirit of anger. So my reaction nowadays, just to remove myself. Listen, when I tell y'all I read people to filth, or I used to read people to filth, I'm not joking. I would curse a guy out so bad, he'd be like, yo, where you at? So I was like, okay. So I just got up. I warmed up my food, and I went to my room. I didn't say a word. I didn't say good night. I didn't say nothing. I just left, right? I just removed myself. Mind you, it's like 9 people. So we were kind of loud. So I go in my room and eat, and suddenly I don't hear anything. And I was like that's odd, you feel me? So I come out of my room, I lean over the banister. The table was clear. The game was over. Now, I don't want to toot my own horn or anything like that, but it wasn't even 5 minutes after I got up from the table where everybody else got up. Anyway, I kind of like backed away from Richard because I'm just like, 1, you're not my man. 1, you're not my dad. Now, mind you, Richard is 43. I was like one of the youngest ones in the house. He was like 43. So he talked to people like they were his children. And I remember one day I told him, I said, you met your match with me. Cause he would just talk down on everybody and like, sir, you don't know me. So anytime he used to try to belittle me, I would come right back at him. And then it wasn't an argument, but it was kind of like a back and forth type thing. And most of the time he used to be like, all right, you got it. Yeah, I know I do. Fast forward, Bob moved out. He moved out. He didn't even tell us. He didn't tell me or Richard. Now, he don't owe me anything, but I felt like him and Richard was pretty close. He just moved out. He told the new girl, Brittany, which was crazy because she just moved in. He had the biggest room in the house. His room had 2 closets, huge bathroom, huge room. He had the biggest room in the house. Mind you, when he was there, I was like, yo, like switch rooms with me. He didn't want to. So when he moved out, I immediately put in that transfer to get his room. I wanted that room, okay? My transfer gets approved. So mind you, he was in room number 1. I was in room 14. So I'm now on the first floor, right? Which was perfect because it was right in front of the kitchen, right? Because mind you, in the morning, I take my sea moss and stuff like that. So it was right in front of the kitchen, right in front of the washer and dryer. It was just the perfect spot. Brittany, she wanted to have adult parties with Richard. So she started doing the most for him. And all of a sudden, I became a bad friend. He started like hanging out with her more, which is fine. It doesn't bother me. I don't care. Fast forward, I'm getting all settled into room 1. Now, I was now closer to Amber, right? Remember I told you we had that first little, you know what I'm saying? I'm now closer to her. So this one day, I cleaned the floor again, y'all, again. Because nobody in there was trying to clean anything. At the trash can, there was like a brown bag full of trash. So I wrote in the chat, whoever put this bag here, I didn't say it like that. Like I said it very respectfully, but I was just like, whoever placed their bag by the trash, could you please take it outside to the trash? because I would like to clean the floor again. Because mind you, the trash was there, and then there were like 2 brown trash bags. So one bag was Amber's and the other bag was someone else's. So the other person, she was like, oh, my bad. Like, I was running late to work. I'll come down, take it out. Amber goes, oh, I'll take it out if it bothers you that bad. I said, or are you taking it out because it's yours? She writes a whole long paragraph. Like, it was so long. I was like, girl, I'm not reading all that. To sum it up, she just was like, oh, you ruin your good deeds trying to be petty every time. One, it's not a good deed. It's just simply me trying to keep this house tidy because y'all are disgusting. I didn't say that because, again, we working on how we respond. But I'm like, y'all keep this house disgusting. So it wasn't a good deed. I was just cleaning the floor. And then 2, who do you think taking out your trash? There is a kitchen trash, which is an actual trash can that people put their stuff in. And then anything extra, you take it outside to the garbage bins. Why would you put that in the kitchen thinking somebody was about to come pick up your trash? So me, I'm not going back and forth over no app. I'm just not. So I seen her in the kitchen later that day. Mind you, she's still going. She's still going in this chat. And I'm like, girl, I'm not going back and forth with you over no app. You know what room I'm in. If you need to talk, knock on my door. I'm not fighting you. Why you keep trying to fight? I'm not trying to fight. If you want to have a conversation, we can have a conversation. But going back and forth over an app is just something I'm not going to participate in. Period. I'm hot. Right? I'm hot because I now feel like the enemy is using her to get me upset. Like, I'm not going to lie. I wanted to put hands on this girl. It's not about the bag. It was about what she was saying. Talking about, oh, you're not holier than thou. And then she was just going in. I'm not a talker. I already said this. I'm not a talker. Like, I don't argue. I'm not doing none of that. Do you want to fight or not? Well, that's how I used to respond. So I was upset. I was so upset. And I was like 2.5 seconds away from putting my hands on this girl. But I'm like, you know what? No. Like, you worked too hard. No. So I went in my room and I cried out to God because I was mad. Like, I was upset. I wanted to put hands on this girl. And it was like, my flesh wanted to, but my spirit is like, no. Like, control yourself. So it was like a battle I was dealing with. It was like me versus me. You know what I mean? So I go in my room, I pray out to God. And I'm like, Lord, I need you to do something because this girl is going to make me slap her. Like, she's going to make me go there. I cried out to the Lord and immediately I just feel better. You know, I was just like, okay, I'm not going to let this enemy get me out of character because it was clear he was using her. So I cried out to the Lord and I was so proud of myself because I was just like, I didn't give into my flesh because my flesh wanted to tear her up. I didn't give into it. It's now the next day and I'm in the kitchen with Richard and another housemate. I'm not going to name him just because he doesn't come up a lot, but it was another housemate. So we were talking about the situation with Amber. And I remember I was like, give it a minute. I was like, I prayed about it. He gonna make something shake. Just give it a minute. Cause she's, at this point, she pissing everybody off. I'm like, just give it a minute. God gonna do something. I cried out to my father. He gonna do something. Y'all, the next day, mind you, me, Richard, and Brittany are in a group chat because Bob moved out. So it was just us that was having these game nights. So we were in a group chat outside of the house chat. I wake up like randomly at like maybe 1 a.m. this day. I got all these text messages. Yay, thank God, da-da-da-da. So I'm like, what's going on? Mind you, I told y'all the app tells us who moves in and who moves out. We had a notification that Amber was moving out. She moved out and I just was like, my father, like, he heard my cry. And sure enough, that next morning, because mind you, I was in room number 1 now. So from my window, I could see the driveway. So sure enough, I saw her packing up her belongings and she moved out. And I was just like, okay, like I started learning, like, okay, take it to God. Don't try to solve stuff on your own. Just take it to him. He got you. So I was just in awe because I was like, he heard me, like, wow. So I'm now at a place where I'm like, you know what? I didn't move here to be having game nights every night, to be drinking these margaritas. I didn't move here for this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know exactly why. Well, obviously the church, but like, I didn't know exactly what else God had in store for me, but that I knew that wasn't it. So I was like, you know what? It's time for me to get back on track. It's time for me to get back into my routines, back into my habits, and lock back in. Because you have been distracted for weeks. The money you saved up, you've spent it now. You stopped doing your routines, you just stopped doing all that. You got distracted. Because don't get me, it was fun. Them game nights was fun. Why do you think we kept doing it? Like, we literally used to have a great time. But I had to hold myself accountable and let myself know, you did not come here for this. I made up in my mind. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get back on track. I brought my blender. I brought everything I needed to be able to make my meal plans again. And I was like, okay, since the gym is out the picture for now, my walking is out for now, what's left? So I started looking up workouts on YouTube. So I created a playlist. I had a workout to do every day of the week, just like I was doing in Philly. I'm like, we're getting back on routine, okay? So as a result, I wasn't hanging out with Richard and Brittany as much. I couldn't. I started to basically just distance myself. Everybody in the house noticed. People was like, what's going on with you and such and such? I'm like, what you mean? They used to be like you was out here every day. Like, y'all used to play games and stuff all the time. Like, what happened? And I'm like, nothing happened. Even Richard said himself, like, oh, you've been distant. Like, you fell back. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I just was like, it's not you. It's not nothing you did. It just, I got distracted. I got here and I got distracted. And this is not what I moved out here for. So they started playing game night in the living room, right? Now, remind y'all, I'm now living in room 1. So this is room 1. This is the living room. When I walked out of my room, I walked into the living room. They was continuing game night, but they were right outside my door. Now, I didn't realize how thin the walls were because when I was living upstairs, Bob was in room 1. He never complained about how loud we were. Even on the days where he didn't play with us, he never said anything. So I didn't think we were that loud. But now that I'm in room 1, I heard everything. So I was like, oh no. This is not gonna work because I'm now back into my routine. So I'm going to bed earlier, waking up early. I'm back. So one day I went out there calling and I just was like, you know, could you guys just be mindful? These walls are very thin and I can hear y'all like over my TV. So one person, another housemate, he just was like, he was joking, but he said something like, oh, well, you just gonna have to get used to it because we've been doing this. Politely, I just was like, well, y'all was doing this when Bob was in room 1. I'm in room 1 now. So I need y'all to tone it down. So they start laughing, whatever, kikiing and stuff. So Richard goes, or you could just come out here with us. And I was like, no, I gotta get up early. So if you guys don't mind, could you just please keep it down? Anytime they would like get too loud, I would go like this. I was just knock on the wall. And the noise reduce like almost immediately. They were respectful for that moment, right? But like I feel like sometimes they would forget, so I would have to keep knocking. This is frustrating me now because I have to go to bed early. They're right outside my door playing this game. I'm getting frustrated, so I did it again. I went to God, cried out to him, and I just was like, Lord, like you see that I'm trying to get back into my routine. These people are outside my door keeping me up. I'm a light sleeper. They're keeping me up. They are interfering with what I'm trying to do. 2 days later, Brittany, she purchased a hookah lounge. I think she moved from California. She had one there. She gave that up. She came to Texas. So she was looking for one since she moved. She purchased a hookah lounge. So as a result, she was there from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m., which means she was hardly ever home, which means they were no longer playing the game outside my door. See, a lot of times God will bless someone else or he'll do for someone else, but it also accommodates you. So he blessed her with a hookah lounge. So because she got the hookah lounge, she's never home, which means they're not outside my door. So I was just like, thank you, God. I was like, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Fast forward. Remember I told you guys, Brittany wanted Richard, but everyone was convinced that he wanted me. She started doing the most. Like, she was cooking for him. I think she ironed his uniform once. She was just doing the most. And I'm just like, girl, have at it. I'm not doing that. So all of a sudden, because she was doing all that, Richard was calling me a bad friend. Oh, you don't check up on me. You don't do this. You don't do that. And I was just like, you're like 50 talking like this. Like, be a man. Like, what are you talking about? Richard grew up around a lot of women. He had a lot of sisters and his mom. So I'm just gonna leave that there. So one day we get into like it was like a small argument, right? And this man said, oh, just don't talk to me no more. Now let me tell you something. About me. Don't ever say that to me if you don't mean it. When I tell you I will stop talking to anybody, I'm not joking. It doesn't mean I don't care about you. It doesn't mean I didn't love you at some point. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means I've had to heal from a lot of things. Do you hear me? A lot of things. So I know how to adapt. I've stopped talking to people that I used to talk to every day. There were people that I used to talk to every day, multiple times a day. It went from that to not talking to them at all. I had an uncle that I told him, I want to be more like you, because he was like very successful. He was very smart. I texted him, I said, I want to be more like you. I need to be around you more. He said, sure. We planned to meet up on a Thursday. I was in college at the time, so I don't know if I was tired. I don't know if I had to study. I don't know what it was. But I do know I didn't go meet him. That Monday morning, I got the text. I got that phone call at 5 a.m. that he passed away. That's just a few examples. When I tell you I've had to heal from so much, So best believe I could love you with my entire heart, but I will stop talking to you, and guess what? I will heal. It doesn't turn me bitter. God won't allow me to be bitter. He won't allow me to not care anymore. No, none of that. I'm not damaged, but I know how to heal. I have mastered healing. So I say all that to say, don't you ever say to me, I'm not going to talk to you ever again if you don't mean it. Oh, you so stubborn. I'm not stubborn. I've mastered healing. So again, don't you ever say those words to me if you don't mean it. He said it out of anger. He was upset, so that's what he said. But that's not how I took it. I said, okay, bet. Block his number. Remember I told y'all Brittany wanted him. So she tried to like set the mood, right? She told me that they did like a movie night in her room. She said he was talking about me the whole time because she had told him that I blocked him. Because mind you, I told y'all we were in a group chat. So I was getting messages, but only hers was showing up. I responded, I said, take me out of this chat. It won't let me do it. It literally wouldn't let me do it. Like, they basically said more people had to be in the chat for me to be able to remove myself. So I told them, take me out of this. So as a result, she told him that I had him blocked. So when she created this movie night in her room with just them two, she said he was talking about me the whole time. And that was like her confirmation. She was just so convinced that this man wanted me. I didn't see it, but she said he was talking about me the whole time. And then when we finally did have a conversation, he was more upset because I blocked him. But I'm like, you said to me, don't talk to you ever again. But that don't mean you gotta block me. No. What it does mean is don't say something that you don't mean. I don't play that. I don't play when people try to say crazy stuff to you just because they upset. I don't play that. And then the next day, oh, I didn't mean it. I was mad. It doesn't justify what you said just because you was mad. If I can control my tongue when I'm upset, you should be able to do the same. Or not that you should be able to do the same, but it's possible that you can do the same. You choose to say crazy stuff out your mouth just because you're upset and think that makes it okay because, oh, I was mad. So we did start talking again only because it was easier for us to just be cordial. You feel me? Like, I still wasn't hanging with them. I was done with the game nights, but it was easier to be cordial because I still had to run into him. You know what I mean? And one thing about Richard, he was a very petty man. So if I was standing talking to other roommates, he would not speak to them because I was standing right there. So I just felt like it was easier to just be cordial. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gotta be BFFs. We could be cordial high and by. That's all it turned into. Mind you, it went from us texting all the time, chilling in the living room all the time, to nothing. One day, I go into the kitchen. Right? The kitchen had 2 sinks. There were dishes all the way to the top of the sinks. I got so irritated. I was so irritated because I just was like, how hard is it to clean up after yourself? How hard is that? I went in my room, mind you, because I'm ready to write in the chat. I'm ready. But I'm like, and in that moment, I realized that God was trying to produce something in me. See, up until this point, when I don't like something, when something bothers me, I remove myself. If it's a person, I'll block you and never talk to you again. If it's a situation, I'll just leave. That has become my go-to. I would remove myself. And I realized in this situation, God was trying to teach me how to handle things while still sitting in it. Because I couldn't just get up and walk out of this room to go where? That's where I was living at the time. So I realized God was trying to teach me how to handle difficult situations while staying in them. Because sometimes you can't change the situation. You have to change how you show up in the situation. So I was like, okay, I'm starting to understand what God is trying to teach me in this season. And I started working at it. So by this point, I'm back to my routine, right? I'm back on my meal plan. I was working out in my room, watching YouTube, 5 a.m. I'm back to that. But I felt a disconnect in my spirit. I felt just a disconnect from God. You know what I mean? Like my spirit just wasn't as sharp. Like it just felt like I was distant from him. One day he spoke to my spirit. He said, you need to fast. For weeks, he has been putting in my spirit that I needed to fast. And I'm going to stop right there. And we're going to finish this testimony with part 4 next week. So make sure you come back to watch part 4. I hope you guys are enjoying the testimony so far. It's just one more part left, and this Testimony Tuesday's topic will be done. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe, and come back next week for part 4. Until next time, love you all. Mwah. Lord, I speak against anything that's not like you. I speak against every spirit that's not like you in the name of Jesus. Oh, I didn't even talk about the bus ride. Okay, I'm sorry. We gotta go back. This room that, oh no, go back. So, and they different. So I just, oh, he had the biggest house in the house. He had the biggest, I said the biggest house in the house. Cause I ordered some groceries, so I just gotta, hold on. So, Jesus, I do pray. Amen.